So hey, today I am joined by Álvaro after MKOI defeat 1-3 against G2 in the upper bracket final. Quite a tough series today, right? I personally feel like all the games were looking kinda similar. Like you and G2 had a very different approach on all those games. They were more playing the map and trying to catch you on sides and everything, while you were, I think, more waiting for team fights and everything, but it
Mhm.
didn't quite happen, right? So you
Yep.
you had some hard time to making some plays and everything. So yeah, how do you feel overall after today?
Mhm. And for sure is what you said. I think they were playing on their own game, and we were not able to play our own strengths because we were kind of following what they wanted to do. And in the end, if they are also training every day like this, they will be in the end better as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's also combined that they did great, and also we were not proposing much. As you said, for example, I think we didn't control enough mid, so then we couldn't move it into the silence. They were getting a lot of advantage from side, and then they were transforming that pressure into mid push as well. So I mean, for sure, it's a lot of things that we can take in consideration from this series, and there is a lot of knowledge that we can even acquire. And basically thinking now about the day 7 best of 5, we still have one best of 5 to MSI,
Yeah.
and then we can face G2 again in the finals.
So yeah, as you said, you're still like, even though it's tough today, you're still like one BO5 away from MSI and the grand final. So I wanted to come back on yesterday because it was, I think, even more important than today, right? Um, like you guys, how did you manage to pull through Karmine Corp? Because I think it was the biggest upset of the weekend, even though G2 was not expected, I think. So yeah, how did that happen?
I think there is not a stronger team in the top 4 or top 3. Like I think Casey in this case, for example, he has been playing better in the regular season, but for example, G2 I think today played better than Casey.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, for sure, yesterday also we studied them even more. We had more time to prepare into them, and we had also like we were really conscious of what they wanted to do. And coming into today's series, we only had like a little preparation, which in the end it matters in a way, but also we need to be better as individuals and as a team, so we can face the problems that we see in the game. But I think also in 2KC we were really well prepared and we realized how they wanted to approach the game and the series, both in draft and how they wanted to play. And I think we took a good advantage from that. So for sure for the day 7, I think is the day 6 who we will know who we face.
Mm.
So preparing into the teams that can beat, like for example, probably will be KC, Giants, or Fnatic. I think those 3 are the strongest ones. I think Heretics is less strong. So yeah, just focus on trying to this week, for example, playing not. I mean, it can be, for example, it's hard to explain, but we can get better on what we do and make sure that we can do it in every game, and we can also adapt and play on what other teams play, so we can get better on that aspect, and then we can use it in our advantage.
Also, I feel like there's been a constant issue this year for you guys. I feel like every time I ask someone about the practice at MKOI, it tells me that it's not going well, right? And yesterday again, I've seen a lot of KOI players, members, staff, and everything on social saying that it was a disastrous week in scrims. So what is going on with the practice in this team?
I mean, there is during spring there was one. I would say like there was 2 times that we had really good scrims. But for example, now coming into the playoffs, I think we had like a bit of a rough week and a half. Uh, I mean, the problems of the screens. I think there is many issues. I would say. I think, of course, in the end, we don't take as serious as the competitive, for example, games. Since there is a lot of games as well, I don't think we have enough tension and we don't put enough effort into the practice. But it's also true that, for example, even if we were like, let's say, behind on the games, we try to come back and we try to deal and manage with that frustration. And I think it showed up also in the second game today. We didn't manage to get a single tower, but we were still even in the game in the elder fight. If, for example, we win that fight, we could end on mid. So I think also, even if the screens are not going better on the result, I think there is things that we can still take. And yeah, I mean, for example, we were able to defend and hold the position and the line a bit better. and we almost managed to take a map when we were really behind. So
I wanted to come back on something. 3 weeks ago, there was a statement that made a lot of noise from KOI fan associations, Las Karpas. I imagine you can say a lot about it, and I don't necessarily want you to, but I just wanted to know if it also affected the environment in MKOI and maybe the way you practice, the way you play, or maybe it helped you because you felt supported somehow by the fans and everything.
Mhm. I mean, probably last year, like there was some issues. I wouldn't say that I had that many issues, like individually, but I think with some of my teammates,
Okay.
we had like some problems. But coming into this year, for example, now I try to not focus on those things. I think it didn't really like impact me or anything. I was happy and not happy in a way. I was like fine because in this case, I didn't really think about those things. I was thinking about the competition and just focusing on what I can, like in this moment, do, like living in the present and playing solo queue, trying to get better on any aspect. So I wasn't putting that much focus on
Okay.
the things talk like that were talk outside. But those things are like managed by our superior, so
Okay.
I don't mind that.
Okay. Okay. You were not affected at all. Like it
No,
didn't
no, no, I
came
don't
to
think so.
you. Okay. Great. Yesterday you were saying that there were good supports in the league on the
Mhm.
broadcast, but I asked Supa in winter and he told me the opposite, that EU was lacking good supports players overall, and despite having good ADC, so he told me that it affected the bot lane level
Mhm.
of the LEC. And yeah, I wanted to know, you don't agree with him, or what's your take on that?
I understand what he means, but because I think he, like when you say, for example, that something is not good, you also need to compare it into something else.
Yep.
And in this case, for example, I think as a strong support, I'm referring to, I think June is the strong. Like I think June plays really well as well, both with his jungler or on the map. He plays, I would say, the best from everyone.
Better than
And
Mikix?
then I will say, yeah,
Okay.
I think Mikix is a good player as well, but I think he struggles in one aspect that I think it's you can take some advantage from it. But
Okay.
I think Mikix is also a strong support, and I think Lavrov as well. And then after this top three, I will say Targamas is the other one that is following. But I will say that top can be really strong if you play on the strengths, and I think I will be into that top as well. I will add myself there.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone has their own strengths and their own weaknesses. It's just how you can use it and how you can manage as a team to either be fine with the weaknesses or be even stronger with the strength that you actually have and make sure that your team play around it and you can get advantage from it.
So just to close the interview, you guys are playing with the same core of player for the second year in a row now, and
Mhm.
you've always been top four, top three, even top two at some point last year. And even though you came close, you've never won GLC, right? So I wanted to know if you think that this is this split, or maybe this year or never, to finally lift a trophy, because otherwise things will have to change maybe.
Mhm. I mean, of course, you always doubt when the practice doesn't go the way that you want, when you are not able to perform in officials as well as you want, or when you are not winning as well. But I think I will always think that this is the year or this is the split. I think it's the mentality that you really need to have as a competitor, because if you really don't truly believe that you're gonna win on this split or this year, then why are you really
Yeah.
competing? So for me, I think this is the split. I think we have the tools. I can also see that, for example, we can struggle in some aspects, but I think if in the long run, if we were able to make this, like, I'm not really sure about how to explain it, but I think in the end, the team that will be on the top is the team that will stay together and that we will manage to solve the issues that they have together. So coming into now this week, I think if we prepare well, for sure we can take the trophy.
Thank you very much, Alvaro. Good luck for
Thank you so
what's
much.
next. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you.